Imagine a world where empires clashed and legendary generals pushed the boundaries of human endurance and military strategy. Our story plunges into the heart of ancient warfare, unveiling a tale of audacious courage, strategic genius, and the seemingly impossible. It's the saga of war elephants, mighty beasts of battle, led by one of history's most brilliant commanders, through frozen mountain passes and across icy rivers. This is the untold how behind Hannibal Barca's legendary crossing, a feat that defied nature and stunned the Roman world, leaving a trail of myth and wonder in its wake. Our journey begins in the shadow of the First Punic War, a conflict that left Carthage humiliated and hungry for revenge. From this crucible emerged Hannibal Barca, a general whose very name struck fear into the heart of Rome. Driven by a childhood oath, a sworn vow to forever be an enemy of Rome, Hannibal meticulously planned a retaliatory strike unlike any before. His ambition wasn't merely to defeat Rome, but to bring the war to its very doorstep, threatening its existence with a gamble that relied on surprise, speed, and the sheer terror of his secret weapon, war elephants. In 218 BCE, Hannibal set forth from Hispania with an army of over 90,000 infantry, 12,000 cavalry, and 37 war elephants. This wasn't merely a march. It was a grand strategic maneuver designed to bypass Roman naval supremacy and land-based defenses. Their initial path snaked through hostile Gallic territories, demanding constant vigilance and fierce skirmishes. Each mile brought new challenges, from scorching plains to skirmishes with tribal warriors, forging a hardened force. But the true test, a formidable natural barrier, loomed ahead, the majestic yet treacherous Alps. The Alps presented a nearly insurmountable obstacle. These weren't mere hills. They were towering, jagged peaks cloaked in eternal snow and ice, with passes barely wide enough for a single file. The Roman expectation was clear. No army, especially one burdened with elephants, could possibly traverse them. Hannibal knew this, and it was precisely why he chose this path. The challenge wasn't just the altitude, but the biting cold, unexpected avalanches, sheer drops, and the constant threat of hostile, mountain-dwelling tribes who saw invaders as prey. It was a race against time, winter, and human despair. To conquer the Alps, Hannibal's army became engineers. When sheer rock faces or massive landslides blocked their path, his Carthaginian sappers deployed ingenious methods. Accounts speak of heating rocks with fires and then dousing them with vinegar to make them brittle and easier to break apart. A debated but iconic tale of ancient ingenuity. This painstaking process, often under relentless snowstorms, carved out rudimentary paths, widening critical sections just enough for the elephants and supply wagons to pass. It was a testament to Carthaginian engineering and Hannibal's unyielding will. How did these massive war elephants, creatures of warmer climes, survive the freezing heights? It was an unprecedented challenge. Their thick skin offered some protection, but the thin air, treacherous footing, and biting cold were brutal. Handlers meticulously guided them, coaxing them across narrow ledges, sometimes constructing makeshift ramps or strengthening icy paths. Many perished, falling from cliffs or succumbing to exposure, but the survivors' endurance was astonishing. They were not just cargo. They were vital, symbolic weapons whose very presence instilled fear and determination, pushing both men and beasts to their absolute limits. The descent, though physically less demanding than the climb, presented its own unique horrors. Exhaustion was rampant, and the slopes, often covered in fresh snow and ice, proved even more treacherous. Men and animals slipped, tumbling into ravines. Hostile Gallic tribes, seeing the weakened state of the army, launched relentless ambushes, picking off stragglers. The numbers dwindled further, but Hannibal's iron resolve remained unshaken. After weeks of relentless struggle, the shattered remnants of his grand army finally emerged from the Alpine maw, a ghostly force on the fertile plains of Italy, but far from safe. Having survived the Alps, Hannibal found himself on the Italian plains, but his trials were far from over. The Romans, though surprised, rapidly mobilized. Winter had set in, bringing bitter cold and heavy rains, swelling the local rivers. The Trebia River, a significant tributary of the Po, became a crucial strategic point. Hannibal, ever the opportunist, saw not an obstacle, but an advantage. He devised a plan to lure the Roman forces into a decisive engagement, utilizing the harsh winter conditions and the freezing river itself as instruments of war against his unsuspecting enemy. It was a risky, brilliant move. Before the main battle, Hannibal orchestrated a feigned retreat to bait the Romans. This meant his forces, including the remaining elephants, had to cross the frigid Trebia. How did they endure? The river was not fully frozen, but its waters were icy cold and chest-deep in places. Men and beasts waded through, numbing cold seeping into their bones. Soldiers endured hours in the freezing water, creating hypothermia and weakening them before combat. The elephants, though massive, also struggled, their bodies exposed to the chilling currents. This deliberate act of endurance was a psychological weapon, designed to wear down the Romans who, unaware, would soon follow. The Battle of Trebia unfolded as Hannibal had meticulously planned. The Roman army, hungry and fatigued from crossing the same icy river, were already at a disadvantage. Hannibal's hidden cavalry ambush, combined with his elephants deployed on the flanks, delivered a devastating blow. The very sight and sound of the elephants, their trumpeting echoing across the frozen landscape, panicked the Roman cavalry and infantry alike. They were not just a terror weapon. Their sheer mass broke enemy lines, creating gaps for the Carthaginian cavalry to exploit. The result was a resounding victory for Hannibal, a testament to his tactical genius and the terrifying power of his surviving beasts. Hannibal's crossing of the Alps and the Trebia River stands as one of history's most audacious military achievements. It wasn't just a physical journey, but a triumph of logistics, leadership, and an almost superhuman will. The image of those mighty war elephants, symbols of exotic power, navigating frozen landscapes, remains etched in our collective imagination. How they truly survived, the exact methods of their care, the daily struggles against the elements. Much remains an enduring mystery, shrouded by the mists of time. But the legend persists, a testament to a general who dared to challenge the very forces of nature, leaving an indelible mark on the annals of warfare. Hannibal's journey across the frozen rivers and formidable Alps, with his incredible war elephants, is more than just a chapter in ancient history. It's a profound lesson in leadership, perseverance, and the boundless limits of human ambition. It reminds us that even against nature's most daunting obstacles, strategic brilliance and sheer audacity can rewrite the rules of the possible. The echo of those trumpeting elephants, traversing impossible terrains, continues to inspire awe, forever sealing Hannibal's place as a master strategist who dared to dream beyond the conventional, etching his legend in ice and stone.